Okay, we're continuing in Mesilas Yesharim. Perek Yud Aleph Midas and Nekiyus. So we're talking about the details of this midah of Nekiyus. This is where people generally have problems, right? Good God-fearing Jews that want to do the right thing, they hit this wall, the wall of Nekiyus, which is the wall of rationalization. Which is okay. The big things I scratched off the big ticket items. Now I'm stuck in these things that I rationalize. So we talked about all the different Benadam L'Chaveres, Benadam L'Malkum, right? Shabbos, whatever, lying, etc. Now he's talking about like this. He says like this. He says, "V'hinei k'moish tzorich Nekiyus b'ma'asim." That's where we are. You have it. K'moish tzorich Nekiyus b'ma'asim. Just like you require cleanliness when it comes to action, kach tzorich Nekiyus b'midos. So too, you have to have Nekiyus when it comes to midos. Now, I don't know what midos are. Sometimes I think I do, and sometimes I don't. What are midos? Generally translated as character traits. Okay, what are character traits? So the Hebrew word midos comes from the word midah, which means measure. What?
Midas Nalaim, right? Midat Nalaim,
Size, measure, right? Measure, size, measure, midah connected, midah, measure for measure. So midah is measure. Okay, so let's see. Let's just leave there. Let's see why it's going to be more problematic. Let's keep reading. It's much more difficult, Nekiyus, cleanliness, when it comes to midos than it is when it comes to action. Because the nature of a person has a stronger action. Influence, or it's more ingrained. The nature of a person is more ingrained when it comes to my midos than when it comes to my actions, right? So I could always, I'm about to, I think I want to steal, right? No, I'll hold myself back. Okay, it's easy to make that decision to hold myself back. The other thing is, I get angry. I gotta hold back my anger. I'm angry. You know, like I can't. That internal pullback, requires much more strength than actually just put your hand down. Step away from the right. So an action is easier to control than your inner turmoil. Yeah. So why? He says Yan hamezek v'hatchuna heim. Because they are the part of the mezeg. No, yeah, because hamezeg v'atchuna heim oy misayim. They either help oy misnagdim, or they resist gedolim lahem. Great resistors or great helpers to them, to the midos. Again, so hamezeg v'atchuna. What is mezeg v'atchuna? Mezeg comes from the word like a mix.
Okay.
Like a mix. Tchuna means nature. Right? So then it comes out that a person has mezeg, has tchuna, and he has midos. What are all those things? So again, I'm going to say it like right now, what I think, and there's a certain, so the person has a certain tchuna, which means his natural inclination. So some people, okay, let's use the word extroverts, introverts, but I don't like that definition. But let's say some people are more introverted, some people are more extroverted.
Yeah.
Right? Those are not midos. Those are tchunos. Those are natural
Traits.
what we call traits. Right? Midos, on the other hand, would be measured expressions of those traits. Okay, so there's tchuna, my nature. Then there is midah, my measured expression of those traits, and then there's action that I act based on those measured expressions of those traits. And there's also something called mezeg, which I'm assuming means like a cocktail, like a mix. In other words, I have multiple tchunos in me. Some of them may be competing, and they balance each other out to some degree. So therefore, even my natural inclinations are tempered by competing other natural inclinations. So I have my mezeg, which qualifies my tchuna, my nature. Then I have my midos, which further qualify or certain specific expressions of my tchuna, and then I have my maisim, which are my actions based on those tchuna, mezeg, and midos, right? So that's the the anatomy of a person's psyche.
The last part is maisim. That's even further removes. I have a trait of I'm an angry person by nature. I'm able to control my anger, and therefore I didn't break the plate.
Right.
While angry. Okay.
While I could be angry,
right,
but I still didn't break the plate. So I controlled my action. While if I did break a plate, then it's an expression of my mida called anger, which I guess wasn't contained by my mezeg, my temperament, and would not, and was fully expressed because my tchuna, my nature, is inclined towards trigger happiness, whatever. Something like this. Okay. That's the map that I see. Okay. That's the map that I see. But so I don't know to what degree my tchuna can be changed. My nature is much more internal. My midos can be very much changed because they're midah. That's measure. You could definitely measure out your midos, right? Mm-hmm. They're still kind of influenced by my tchuna. That's why he says it's much more difficult to control my midos. But midos is something that I should be able to control. While my tchuna, I don't know if I'm supposed to really control my tchuna. Maybe it takes a lifetime to really, fix my tchuna. But my midos, I should be able to always maintain balance of my midos.
Train yourself to get hold of them.
Right. That's the map that I see here. That's the map that I see here. Okay. The other thing that he said over here, he throws in that the mezeg and the tchuna sometimes they're either big helpers or they're big anti-helpers, right? So that if you recall when we were learning the Derech Hashem, he said that different people are dealt a different hand. Mm-hmm. Some people who maybe non kadoshim come from holy families, they maybe get a much more of a flexible disposition and much more sensitive nature towards avodas Hashem. And some people are more harsh and vulgar, and therefore, right? So maybe at the end, in Al Haba, when Kadosh Baruch Hu does the entire cheshbon, so he's going to take everything into account. But in the physical world, that what we see is that some people just have an easier time doing avodas Hashem because their tchuna is built, more sensitive or more pliant or more whatever, and therefore their midas are much easier to adjust. While other people are given a tchuna that's much more, whatever it is,
right? Okay.
Harsh, etc. Okay.
Sort of like a spiritual DNA that they are
dealt right. Okay, fine. Moving on. So v'chol milchamos he neget netiyas hatev, and so therefore again continuing his thought why it's more difficult to control control your midas because v'chol milchamos he neget netiyas hatev, because any conflict, any war, any battle that goes against the leaning of nature, milchama chazaka, it's a great battle. And that's what they taught us with this saying, Ezu Gibor, who is considered a strong man, right? Somebody who contains his yetzer. Because that goes against the nature. We already had this statement with regards to Zrizus, right? Because Zrizus was one of those midos that really goes against nature. Because by nature, a person wants to just heavy and do nothing, right? And so then you need strength to go against that nature. Oh, good, fine. Weiter. Vehine hamidas hein rabbis. Now there are many midas. Why? Because in accordance, or corresponding to all the actions that a person can do in the world, there are that many midas which produce those actions. So every action comes with its elf, with its own midah. Amnam, however, and so therefore, just like we spoke regarding mitzvahs, that a person needs to cleanse himself in them more, right? In other words, what I called the typical problems of his generation, so what he calls maybe typical problems of people, that this is where they generally have trouble with these rationalizations and need extra dose of Nekiyus. The Hainu, which is Mimashi Regilus Bnei Odom Likoshel, this is a common place for people to stumble in. So too, I want to discuss here the primary midas, Barichus Iyun Yoser, with just a little additional extended depth. Because we are also what's the word? Not inhabited, but we habituated ourselves in these midas. What are they? Vehem, hagaiva, hakas, hakina, v'ataiva. Okay, so we got gaiva, which is, let's say, hubris, kas, which means anger, kina, which means, I guess, jealousy, and hataiva, which is desire. Hagaiva, hakas, hakina, v'ataiva. Again, hagaiva, hakas, hakina, v'ataiva. Okay, let's see. Yeah. Well, what's the fancy English?
Pride, anger,
anger,
envy, and lust.
envy, and lust. Great. Pride, anger, envy, and lust. This is like the 7 deadly sins. Okay.
4 of them.
4 of them, right. Hein kol elam midos rois. These are terrible midos. Asher osam nikeres mufersemas. Their evil is recognizable and well known. And there's no need for proofs that these things are bad. They are bad in themselves, and they also are bad in their results. Because all of them are really outside of logic. Okay? They're not logical, they're illogical. Again, what's illogical here? Gaiva, pride, kas, anger, kina, envy, v'ataiva, and desire. So for me, again, offhand, I don't know anything. If I had to guess, gaiva is probably illogical. Meaning, what am I gaining walking around like a big shot?
Right.
Okay. Kas, anger, definitely illogical. What are you going crazy for? What are you accomplishing? Just stressing yourself out.
Right.
Okay. Kina, envy, definitely illogical. What are you, the guy, if it's not yours, it's not yours. What is it? You're not going to get the other guy's Ferrari, even if you envy it very much. All it does is just, again, cause you aggravation and a sense of lacking. So also illogical. Taiva seems pretty logical to me. You want things. Without taiva, you're definitely not gonna get anything. So taiva, I don't know if I would just throw it into the illogical. I mean, I understand that. What's the point? You see you see these construction workers. A girl goes by and they're all hanging with their tongues, and like, what did you accomplish?
Right. So
what did you accomplish?
There's also a shade of illogic.
Right, so then maybe that's, in that sense, like, it's just taiva for the sake of taiva. What are you doing? Right.
The chase is better than the catch.
Right, exactly. Okay, let's see. Let's keep going. So these are Meshuras HaSeichel. They're outside of the wall of Seichel. V'kol achas k'dai le'atzmo lehavias ha'odam alaveros chamuros. And each one in itself can bring a person to great averos. I'm assuming besides that in themselves being wrong in themselves, they also will lead a person to accomplish an avera. That's what I'm saying. Besides, even though it doesn't say besides, but he said before, ki hein rois heina be'atzmon v'rois b'toldei. And now he's explaining what does it mean v'rois b'toldei. What does that mean that they are evil in their results? So kikulon chutz mishur seichel v'achokma, because they are outside of shuras haseichel v'achokma, and each one can bring a person to sin. That's the toldei sehen. The toldei sehen is that I don't know if this is. I don't know how to read this. Is it one sentence or it's two sentences? Right. The rois toldei sehen, because you're being stupid, and because you can lead you to sin, or is it since you are being stupid, it will lead you to sin, right? I'm not sure how to read this properly. Okay, let's keep going. So now he's going to go through each one. Ala gaiva, with regards to gaiva, mikramole mazir. The pasuk straight out warns you. V'oimer, it says v'ram levavecha, and your heart will raise itself, will rise. V'shachachtas Hashem Elokecha, will lead you to forget Hashem your God. Ala kas. Regarding anger, the rabbi said, "Kol hakoyes yebenecha kilu avodah zarah." Somebody who gets angry, it's as if he is serving avodah zarah. Again, what does it mean? Is ki'ilu he's serving avodah zarah? Because we're talking about that the midah of anger will bring you to a certain sin.
Right, and then you.
So what he's understanding this line, why is it ki'ilu avodah zarah? Right? It could have had multiple interpretations.
Right,
he's using a simple interpretation, saying because in anger you can come to avodah zarah, and therefore it's ki'ilu you already did it. Okay, right? Because that's what he's saying. He's producing. Right? He's bringing us proof that these midos lead to averos. So the first one is it will lead you to forget your God. Anger will lead you to avodah zarah.
You will not be control of your.
Right. Alakina v'atayva shenyinu behedya. Regarding kina and taiva, we explicitly learn hakina v'atayva akovad meitziim esa oidam min ha'oilam. They take a person out of the world. So again, what's the avera here? Being taken out of the world. Also, I'm guessing he's learning that. Again, let's say happen to have this Pirkei Avos here, Perek Dalet. That's exactly what we're learning. So Perek Dalet, Mishnah Chaf Aleph says, Rabbi Elazar Kapar Amar, Kina v'atayva kovad meitzin es ha'odam min ha'olam. Sorry, I don't see what metzina solom oilam. Right, so min oilam, which oilam? This world or next world, or both? The Tiferes Yisrael says both, because these akina taiva kovad will bring you to multiple averis and will take you out of the world. Right, so that's so the same. So mathematics. That these things, these midas will bring you to okay, fine, let's keep going. Amnam ha'in amitztorich bom hu lihimolit mehem umikol anfehem. However, the iyun, right, the analysis that's required here in these midas is to escape from them umikol anfehem, and also from all their branches. Again, so this is again branches, right? The Nekiyus is not just checking off the big ticket items. It's about figuring out all of the, subcategories and all the gray areas, and that's what he calls anfehem, their branches. Because altogether they are offshoots of a foreign vine. What does that mean? What does that mean? Meaning, what's my problem here? Meaning he didn't say that about branches of other averes, right? Specifically, when it comes to midos, he's pointing out that that little offshoot, gray area of taiva, kina, kas, gaiva, that one that you didn't rationalize, that little bit that's left is all part of the, that means the whole vine is there. That's what he seems to be saying. Because why is he telling me that the branches are still, they're still all from the vine, from this evil vine. I understand that's what a branch is. A branch is part of a vine, right? He didn't say that before. By every other branch of Shabbos, branches of Shabbos, branches of, right? Because he's saying when it comes to midos, if you didn't eradicate, so to speak, if you don't have that midah under control, it's there. Right? It's there. It's there. It's still growing. It's still developing. It's there. That's what he's saying. He's saying because they're all, even the little offshoot, is still kulei surya gefen achriya. Okay, v'nedaber bom rishon. So let's begin talking about each one by one. Again, I don't know what he. This is what bothers me here. Again, we're accustomed to think about Ramchal being absolutely measured in his words.
Right, and that's the assumption that we go on.
Right.
And all of a sudden here is...
So he already twice he said, let us speak about this, let us speak about this. Just these unnecessary introductions. I don't know. Maybe I'm just being over... Okay, but in any case, moving on. Hine klal inyan hagaiva. So the first thing is going to talk about gaiva. What is gaiva, right? This is one of the most difficult questions to explain to people, to tell people. What's the difference between a healthy dose of self-confidence versus gaiva, right? That's number one. Number two, we have to keep in mind that all the way down towards the end of the book, right before the midah of kedusha, which is the highest midah there is another midah called anova, called humility. So if you're getting rid of gaiva here, what do you have left for that last midah right before kedusha? Right? So clearly there's going to be a difference. There's going to be a lack of gaiva may not necessarily mean a presence of humility.
Okay, I think humility by definition is...
So, well, that's not true what he says. So if you fast forward to chapter 22, all right, if you fast forward to chapter 22, he says over there, but this bear midas hanova, right in the beginning, right, explanation of the midah of hanova. He says, "Hine kvar dibarnu l'mayla mignus hagaiva." But we already spoke when it, through the terrible the gnus. I don't know how to say the gnus. What's the English?
Unworthiness.
Unworthiness. It's stronger than worthiness. Let's call it the ugliness of gaiva. We already spoke about the ugliness of gaiva. And as a result, nishma shevach anova. We understood the worthiness of anova, of humility. Achata, however, now, and meaning in this chapter, nevayer yoiser b'derech ikar ha'anova, will focus on anova, right? V'his boira gaiva me'leha, and gaiva will be explained as a result. Right? Okay, so let's hold this page. We're going to compare back and forth. But right, so it's not like what I said that absence of gaiva does not yet mean presence of anova. No, it does. I mean, those two things go ahead. Absence of gaiva creates anova. However, so then I guess question comes back. So when you got rid of gaiva, why don't you have anova yet? If there's a whole chapter way later in Chassidus and saintliness that's devoted to anova. I mean, we mentioned once that Moshe was onav mikol adam, right? Moshe was onav mikol adam.
Yeah. So
therefore, that shows us that anova is a never-ending spectrum. It's not like something that you accomplished, because you see that Rabbi Yehuda Hanosi was probably a great Onav, but Moshe Rabbeinu was a greater Onav. Pick your any name, but the bottom line is, it's just it's just a never-ending spectrum. A nova is just
meaning that you could get more Anav than Moshe Rabbeinu. Right?
Yeah,
Meaning that there's no ceiling to it.
Or maybe not. I'm saying just like he was the greatest Novi ever, maybe he's the greatest Onav ever. But the point is that just like at some maybe he reached humanly possible a nova, right? Maybe there is further to go, but it's not. Even that already is humanly impossible. I don't know, but let's see. So what is Gaiva? Let's see what he says. Hine klal inyan hagaiva huzeh. This is the idea of Gaiva. Sheha odom, that a person machshiv atzmoi beatzmoi. Machshiv atzmoi beatzmoi. Values himself in himself. Okay? When a person is machshiv atzmoi beatzmoi, that's part of Gaiva. Ubilvovoy yidame, and in his heart, he imagines kiloi novas hila, that he deserves praise.
So that's his definition.
That's it. That's it. One line definition. It's 2-line definition. Let's call it. Okay, is machshiv atzmoi beatzmoi, right? Self-importance and entitlement to praise. Self-importance and entitlements to praise. Self-importance and entitlement to praise. Self-importance.
So these are 2 mandatory
and entitlement to praise. So I'm not sure what he means. When you say self-importance, I'm assuming you get the famous thing. You think Moshe Rabbeinu didn't know he was Moshe Rabbeinu, right? Without accurate self-assessment, what's the point? Right? Again, he's going to say that Gaiva is a falsehood. Right? Gaiva is a falsehood, meaning when we give ourselves airs, so that's a falsehood. That's Gaiva. That's why it's lifnim mishuras haseichel, right? It's outside of seichel because you're giving yourself airs that you don't really have, right? But accurate self-assessment, that's good. That's not
right.
Gaiva.
So you find a gem of a person.
Right. If I'm the world's best tennis player, I'm the world's best tennis player. That's just an accurate self-assessment. That's not Gaiva. So what's the difference between accurate self-assessment and machshiv atzmai be'atzmai? Or maybe no, machshiv atzmai be'atzmai in itself is not Gaiva, but it's the next part. It's the entitlement to praise. That's Gaiva. But let's see now. I think he's going to open this up for us. Let's see. A person can this self-assessment can be created from various ideas, and mischalfa is that they could be changeable, interchangeable. Somebody will assess himself as a Baal Seichel, right? Somebody intelligent. Somebody will assess himself as good-looking, beautiful. Somebody will assess himself as honorable. Somebody will assess himself as great. And somebody will assess himself as wise. So I'm not sure what the difference between Baal Seichel and Chocham is. Maybe Chocham is knowledgeable. Maybe Baal Seichel is logical. I don't know. Let's say, right? So these are qualities, human qualities that a person can have, right? Klolei shel dover. So generally speaking, kol echad min advorim hatoivim sheba'olam, or each good thing in the world, im yachshav odam sheyishke boy, if a person will think that he has it, not sheyishke, that he has an abundance of it, I'm assuming, harehu misukun miyad. Lipol b'shachas zehagaiva. At that point, he's instantly in danger of falling into the trap of gaiva. So from what do we see from here? So in and of itself, that's not gaiva. If a person possesses a certain quality, an outstanding quality, right, and he understands that he has an outstanding quality, that in itself does not seem to create gaiva, but it creates a danger of gaiva, right? So then must be, again, going back to what he said before, machshiv atzmoi ba'atzmoi, that's good. But that I demand praise, I'm entitled to praise, that's the problem. Right? Correct? That's what it seems. Yes. That's what the reading said. In itself, having a certain quality in itself, no problem. Potential problem, but in itself, no problem.
So you can realize that the person can realize he's the best tennis player in the world, but then if he doesn't see that as a worthy of praise, then he's still okay.
Right. Again, I'm assuming I'm going to jump the gun a little bit, because a person has to always recognize that without God giving me the talent, without God helping me out, it would never be there. So meaning me walking around as calling attention to myself because of my great skill, as opposed to wow, thank God, I'm so blessed, I'm so fortunate, I'm so amazing, it's so lucky that I, not lucky, whatever, I don't know exactly, but accurate self-assessment, good. Me, not good.
Okay, so going in this direction, the two things flow. Do you go in the opposite direction? If somebody's walking around saying, "I need to be praised," does he not? I'm saying, he's saying, I need a medal because I'm the best tennis player ever, player in the world, right? So, had he not been the greatest player in the world, he wouldn't be walking around deserving the praise, right? But by saying by realizing that I'm praiseworthy, already includes in that the realization that he's the best player in the world. Right?
Correct.
But I'm just speaking out loud. But going the other direction, you can know that you are the best player in the world, and then the praise doesn't come in automatically.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, again, let's see if we're right. Switch to Anova. Go back, chapter 22.
Okay.
Okay. Let's see. Hine klal ha'anova. So here's the general rule of Anova. Klal ha'anova. Klal inyan hagaiva. Klal ha'anova. What's the klal ha'anova? What's the klal ha'anova? Hu heyois ha'odom, being a person, bilti machshiv atzmoi mishum tam she'iyeh, does not consider himself important for whatever reason. So clearly, here we said, so it's a very different read, right?
So he could realize that he's the best tennis player ever, but he doesn't think that's very, very important because it doesn't achieve much.
No, I don't know. So again, now we go back to the original premise. The original premise is what? Lack of gaiva does not mean presence of anova.
And now,
so it could be lack of gaiva is he doesn't walk around with entitlement of praise. He's machshiv atzmoi. He recognizes chashivus, but he does not demand praise. Anova is total denial of chashivus. But then again, now we have a question. What does that mean, total denial of chashivus? Does that mean inaccurate self-assessment? That's not right. It can't be as a premise, I'm making a premise that it can't be that anova means denial of reality.
Right,
okay?
Exactly.
Anova cannot mean denial of reality. So So again, so careful, accurate. So I'm assuming the word chashivus, choshuv, means a value. Again, doesn't really mean value, but it means importance, right? Lachshov, to think, to contemplate, to meaning it's some. Again, I'm assuming it does not mean just careful. It just does not mean accurate self-assessment. It means that from this accurate self-assessment of my, right, from the accurate self-assessment of myself, I also have a sense of self-importance. So there is a step there in between accurate self-assessment to self-importance to praise. So it could be lack of praise will take care of the gaiva problem, right? But he still has a sense. I'm
great.
Yeah, I am great. But the next level, anova would imply I am what I am, and that's it, without an evaluation of I'm great. So I am what I am.
But then it's
I am what I am.
Assessment.
Meaning it is a valid assessment. Meaning just like a person.
Nobody can beat him.
Meaning just like a person who is a shoemaker, right? He's a decent shoemaker. He doesn't walk around, let's say, a mediocre shoemaker. Doesn't walk around with like, wow, I'm such a good shoemaker. I'm a shoemaker. Who cares? I'm not at a party. I don't walk around and say I'm a shoemaker, right? On the other hand, I'm the greatest tennis player in the world, right? I come in and say hello, Champion Mira, tennis. Nice to meet you, right? There is an automatic built-in, totally calm. I'm not working on praise, but there's an automatic sense of
value.
Right? And what Anova is saying, you fully recognize your unique status as the best player in the world, but you take it with the same calm and the same, just matter of factness, as if, okay, regular shoemaker.
Okay.
That's what. That's my working working theory for now.
There's another, I don't know, maybe what if an accurate assessment of one's self-worth could be, yes, I am the best ping pong player ever in the history, but is it such a great achievement? I mean, there's people saving lives. There's people winning wars.
Okay, but what if I'm also the guy who saves lives in wars? I mean,
listen, there's people who teach children. There's people who, I don't know. There is an assessment, there is a realization that I'm great at what I do. But then, okay, big deal. So I'm great at what I do.
Okay, I mean, possibly, but possibly. Meaning you're saying that no matter which quality I have, I'll find another quality that I don't have.
Right, exactly.
Right?
Or there's always...
But I think what Anova is going to be saying, that even in the quality that I do have, the reason why I achieved that quality and nobody else is because I was born with circumstances that allowed for it. I was born with natural inclination that allowed for it. I was born with, or I was brought up in environment that was what's called. I was motivated by my circumstances. My motivation, which grew as a result of those circumstances, motivated me to work harder than everybody else, and put it all together. All of those contributors, all of those contributing factors help me become who I am. Somebody else would have had those contributing factors, they also would have become exactly what I am.
Okay.
and so I play my part. He plays his part. We all play our parts. So doesn't mean I should walk around. No, because could have been the second guy, could have been the third guy. Somebody has to be the first guy. Somebody has to be the second guy. I mean, Baruch Hashem, God gave me the tools to be the first guy. Okay, he's the second guy. We're all technically, we're just all playing our part. So okay, okay, that's it. Okay, fine. Let's keep. Where are we up to? Wow, it's quite late actually. Okay, let's maybe stop here then. We'll give. Hold on, where are we up to? Okay, let's stop here. Okay, fine.